Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Rob, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about me eating a little crow, going from a stick burner to a pellet grill. For the longest time, I've been a lover of barbecue, feeding that fire, watching that fire, getting the perfect smoke flavor, getting that nice smoke ring on the cooks that we would do. And, I thought that was only achievable on a stick burner. And today, in today's video, I'm going to tell you I was wrong. For the longest time, I have been a home cook. Love to cook at home. Backyard cooking was a big part of that. That's kind of where I started, like most dads do, on the grill, on a barbecue, things like that. And I used to barbecue a lot. Used to do a lot of friends' parties or graduations, done a few barbecue competitions, local small ones, just for kind of fun. Never, considered myself a real pro, but I've gotten into it. I know a little bit about it, not a lot, but a little bit, and formed an opinion that it had to be a stick burner. If you're going to have good barbecue, had to be a stick burner. You had to be out there managing that fire. You had to be getting that perfect smoke flavor on those meats. You had to get that smoke ring just right. And I'm going to tell you today I was wrong. Now, you may be going, why? Why would you make that decision? If you love the stick burner, you've been doing it, why wouldn't you keep doing it? Well, I live in Houston, Texas. I'm also 10 to 15 years older, and the heat on an older guy hits you just a little different. It really does. And, I've gotten to the point in the last 6-7 years where I haven't cooked a lot of barbecue because the heat's just too hot. Now, in the fall, I'd still cook some barbecue, but it would be more your chicken, your sausage, your ribs, things like this that didn't take a lot of time. On a Saturday afternoon, I could fire it up, cook, and be done. The big meats, that big 15-pound brisket, that big 12-pound pork butt, I wasn't doing them because it just took too long. I didn't want to start in the middle of the night. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Man, it helps us a bunch. Hit the like button for this video. Hit that notification bell, get notified when we put out new videos. I just kind of stopped and stuck to my inside cooking, which I absolutely love to do. If you've looked at my Instagram, and I don't know if you have, but it's in the description below, I love to cook. Here's an example. I love to cook inside. I like to do pizzas. I like to do all kinds of inside cooking, exploring wines, exploring bourbons. I'm a big coffee guy, so anything related to cooking, man, I'm down that rabbit hole. So, loving exploring other kind of cooking options, I kind of neglected the barbecue. And here recently, my wife's birthday, matter of fact, yesterday was her birthday, but about a few weeks ago, she was like, for my birthday next month, I want barbecue. And I said, honey, sorry. As much as I love you, it's August. It's August here in Houston. It's going to be 100 and some degrees as far as, what the heat is going to be in the backyard. I am not standing out there managing a fire trying to cook you some brisket or barbecue or whatever for several hours to get. And she was like, hold on, I got a solution for you. And I knew it was coming. She threw out pellet grill. She's like, if I get you a pellet grill, you don't have to be outside for hours in the heat, and I get the barbecue that I want for my birthday dinner. And of course, how do you say no to your wife, right? So I go, okay, let's do it. So I had over the years been kind of looking at pellet grills. And I'll be honest, the three that I had always known were the Traeger, the Pit Boss, and the Rectech. And I know there's Z grills now. Weber has one now. I'm not sure, maybe Blackstone has one now. If they don't already, I'm sure they will at some point. Everybody's getting into the pellet game. So I knew a little bit about, like I said, those three, Traeger, Pit Boss, and Rectech. And I knew I didn't want to spend a ton, but I knew I didn't want a Traeger. So we ultimately ended up with a Pit Boss. My wife had kind of picked out the smaller. Of course, she went with the least expensive. And there's nothing wrong with that because, again, she didn't know if I was going to like it or not like it. And by the way, I still love to cook outside. If you take a look at my backyard, you'll see I have plenty of cooking devices. I've got, the Gosney Arc XL. I've got the Unicota 16. I've got a Weber flat top, a Weber grill, I've got a stick burner, and now we're adding in this Pit Boss. So I love to cook outside. It's just most of my cooking here in Houston is done between November and May in the backyard because that's when the weather's just beautiful. So decided on a Pit Boss. She was going to go with the smallest one, and I was like, let's go a little bigger than that. I mean, I don't want to get something that is super expensive, but I also want to have enough cooking surface that I can get, a few things on if we're going to have some people over, especially when you're talking about having the birthday barbecue dinner. So it's going to be family. It's going to be, 10, 12, 15 people coming over. When the grill came in and it was in my garage, my wife and my son went and picked it up. I was out of town for work. I got home. I watched a couple of videos and they said, it's a one-man job to put it together. It's not. It's a two-man job, but it's not hard. As long as you have two people to do it, you just need some extra arms, some extra help holding a couple of things. Pretty easy to put together, and it's a solid build. I really liked the grill. It's got a little weight to it, which I really liked. The lid, makes me feel like it's going to hold its temp a little bit better, maybe not burn as many pellets because it's holding that temp. So I was pretty impressed with that. I'm also very impressed with the technology on this grill. It has an app that goes to my phone where I can control everything. The display on the grill itself, on the smoke box, it's very user-friendly. It's very easy. They give you two probes that you can put into two different meats and manage both of those temperatures in those two different meats, which is awesome. And you get all that right on your phone. Cooking surface. We get 1,620 inches of cooking surface, which is great. Now, there are a couple things I don't like about the grill. The hopper. 30 pounds of pellets can go into this hopper. So everything about this grill, as far as quality, as far as build, as far as, technology that's built into it, I thought it was great. I was really happy putting this together and getting it fired up. And before I did my wife's birthday cook, I said I need to do my first trial run, get kind of used to this thing, see how it works. Do I, am I happy with it? Do I think I get some barbecue flavor, get some results that I'm looking for? A week before my wife's birthday, that last week after church, I said I'll smoke some ribs and chicken. Doesn't take a long time, something easy. Just kind of trial run, test it out. So cooked those, came out fantastic, really happy with it. Ribs looked great. Chicken cooked really well. Ribs had a little smoke ring on them. Everybody was very happy. And this gave me a lot of encouragement. I was like, okay, all right, that was pretty good results. So that got us to this week where my wife's birthday. Birthday barbecue is what she wanted, and now we're going big. Now we're going big meats. We're going to brisket. And I did a 12-pound brisket. And then I did a 10-pound, that's not right. I think it was like 9-pound pork butt. And these are going to take a lot more time. And again, this is why I didn't do these kind of meats over the last few years, is because I didn't want to be managing a pit all night long. Pellet grill, you don't have to. And by the way, you hear me call this the backyard crockpot. I think a lot of people might call it that. That's actually what I named my grill on the app. It's the backyard crockpot. Because when you get the app, if you have more than one Pit Boss, you can add grills to it and then, fire up the one that you are. They're all becoming, connected to technology. So mine's the backyard crockpot. I didn't want to be out there all night, and this allows me to not have to do that. So I went ahead and I prepared my briskets and I prepared my pork butt, got them all wrapped, put them in the fridge for overnight. Let them kind of get seasoned and call it a dry brine, if you will, whatever you want to call it, prepped. And the next day, about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, I threw these bad boys on, put them on the pit. I didn't know, where I had some concern was, holy shit, I hope I don't run out of pellets in the middle of the night. And I filled that hopper all the way up. And I thought, man, I hope this is enough. And by the way, I bought 3 20-pound bags of pellets so that I could do this cook. So I wanted to make sure I had enough. I had no idea how much I was going to need. And by the way, I used pecan Pecan's a wood that I like a lot. I use it. I think it's very versatile. I think it works for, I'm not a big oak guy. And I filled that hopper up. And about 10 o'clock at night, put her on, 225. And I knew I was going to let that brisket go to do about an hour and a half per pound. So I knew I was going to let it go for about 18 hours. And got up the next morning at about 5:30. My wife and I, we take the dogs for a walk every morning, about a mile, and went out there before we left to check it. Temp was good. Briskets were looking great. Brisket and pork butt was looking great. And the hopper had hardly, I don't want to say had hardly, didn't go down that much, not even a quarter. And I was impressed. I was like, man, I really thought I was going to have to maybe pour some more pellets in, but no. As far as holding its temp and not eating through some pellets, this thing does a great job. So when the brisket and the pulled pork both reached about 165 to 175 internal, I pulled them both off, wrapped them in some butcher paper, and then I got them back onto the grill to finish cooking, the smoker, I should say, to finish cooking until they hit that internal temp that I wanted, which was on both of them, 205. That was the internal temp I was looking for. Now, where I kind of was a little disappointed was typically what I'll do is take it off when I hit my internal temp, let it rest for at least an hour and a half up to 3 hours, something like that. And then I'm ready to serve. And I feel like we're still at that meat's still at, call it 125 to 140, somewhere in that range. So I'm always really happy with that. Last night, my wife's birthday, we had a delay in getting some guests here. So we were about an hour and a half behind where I wanted to cook or actually serve this meat. And so it was a little cooler than I would have liked. Still tasted great. So the bark was really good on the brisket. The smoke ring was really good on the brisket. I do think it dried out just a little. It wasn't as juicy as I would have liked. The pork butt was perfect. Had all kinds of flavor and juice in there. The brisket, I do need to work on that. But again, my first cook on the Pit Boss, I'm extremely happy. I can't tell you how impressed I am with this, with smoke flavor, with bark, with tenderness of meat, with getting a smoke ring that we all like. We like to see that smoke has done its part. Everything about this was really good. And by the way, I slept all night long. I wasn't out there all night or waking up every 2 hours to check wood. I thought it was great. I have shit on this for a long time, a pellet grill. I was wrong. I'm big enough to admit it. I was wrong. I'm at a place in my life. I'm at a place where I still enjoy barbecue. I just don't want to go through the process. And this allows me to do that. My wife's happy. I get to cook barbecue. It smells great in the backyard, but the work is not there, and I'm good with that. I will also say the Pit Boss, it markets itself as this kind of 8-in-1 cooking device. All these different things, grilling, searing, smoking, baking, all this kind of stuff that it can do. I'm not sure. I bought it for smoking. Maybe I'll try. It talks about that it has this, sear area, because when you look at the drum of the smoker, it's got this firebox where it comes out right here, this fire. Well, okay, you can sear, but one piece of meat at a time, maybe. I got the grill, when you do this burn to clean it off, I got it up to 450 degrees, no problem. The temperature goes higher. I'm not sure what it would max out at. I probably need to check that, but pretty impressed that it can get that hot. Makes me think maybe I'll do some smoked burgers on here or something with some bacon and things like that. I'm going to play around, going to have a little fun with this, see how creative we can get, what we can do on this thing. But I got to tell you, I was wrong. Pellet smokers, the backyard crockpot, perfectly fine. Matter of fact, you might want to have one in your arsenal. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching this episode. This is my 2 cents on the pellet grill. Now, again, this is a small sample size. This is the Pit Boss 1100. But in the world of pellet grills, my opinion has changed. Are there some good ones? Sure. Are there some bad ones? Probably. But the Pit Boss 1100, solid. Really happy with the purchase, really happy with the results. If it's something you're considering, a pellet grill, I hope this helps in you making the decision, because it's definitely worth having in the backyard arsenal. Great piece of equipment. I can see me using this a whole lot more than I ever thought I would. So thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys on the next one.